read? Yes, the eternal engagement from here. Pranay, we can start.
Yeah. This eternal engagement in Bhakti Rasa can be understood by a serious student upon studying the nectar of devotion. Adoption of Bhakti Rasa or Krishna consciousness will immediately bring one to an auspicious life free from anxieties and will bless one with transcendental existence, thus minimizing the value of liberation. Bhakti Rasa itself is sufficient to produce a feeling of liberation because it attracts the attention of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Generally, neophyte devotees are anxious to see Krishna or God, but God cannot be seen or known by our present materially blunt senses. The process of devotional service, as it is recommended in the Nectar of Devotion, will gradually elevate one from the material condition of life to the spiritual status, wherein the devotee becomes purified of all designations. The senses can then become uncontaminated, being constantly in touch with Bhakti Rasa. When the purified senses are employed in the service of the Lord, one becomes situated in Bhakti Rasa life, and any action performed for the satisfaction of Krishna in this transcendental Bhakti Rasa stage of life can be relished perpetually. When one is thus engaged in devotional service, all varieties of rasa or mellows turn into eternity. In the beginning, one is trained according to the principles of regulation under the guidance of the Acharya or spiritual master, and gradually, when one is elevated, devotional service becomes automatic and spontaneous eagerness to serve Krishna. There are 12 kinds of rasas, as will be explained in this book. And by renovating our relationship with Krishna in five primary rasas, we can live eternally in full knowledge and bliss.
I was saying even we have read this also, I think. So anyway, so here is talking about the Bhakti Rasa experience is beyond liberation also. Many people are interested in getting liberation, but actually the Bhakti is beyond liberation. So that it says, no, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. How it starts? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, Na Shochati Na Kankshati, Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So actually, when somebody gets liberation, that may be considered very big goal, big thing which he has done. But actually, the bhakti begins after liberation. So once when somebody is engaged in devotional service, so he is beyond liberation. That's what is another verse. Mam cheva vichare na bhakti yoge na sevate sagunana samtityata and brahma bhuyaya kalpate. If somebody engages in devotional service, then he automatically goes beyond the modes of attention. So now when we are practicing bhakti, so we may think, oh, but we are not liberated. I'm still in conditioned state. So how to understand? So yes, so when we engage devotional service, when we are still in conditioned state, then that bhakti leads to purification. So that engagement in devotional activity leads to purification. And as we become purified with the potency of devotional service, with the potency of Krishna consciousness, then gradually we actually come to the platform of doing devotional service on liberated platform, meaning completely pure devotional service, which has no tinge of any kind of materialism. It's completely blossomed consciousness, Krishna consciousness, one can perform devotional service. So right now we have certain contamination. So that's why we may be doing devotional service in mode of ignorance, in mode of passion, in mode of goodness. That Srimad Bhagavatam explains it. No? So devotional service is not in modes, but the practitioner may be in different modes. That explanation is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. But by engaging in devotional service, gradually one gets purified of these modes. And also one should be also consciously working on trying to elevate oneself, not being stuck in lower modes. So that's why we also practice devotion. We also practice mode of goodness life. Like we also try to keep clean. We try to be regulated. All that is also important because that way it helps us to perform devotional service better and better. So what he says, the nectar of devotion will gradually elevate one from material condition of life to the spiritual status, wherein the devotee becomes purified of all designations. So devotional service will purify us from all the designations. because we are in so he says the censer can then become uncontaminated, being constantly in touch with bhakti rasa. So the purified censer employed in the service of the Lord, one becomes situated in bhakti rasa life. Then you can be situated in Krishna consciousness, right? So right now what happens, we engage in devotional service, we get some taste, we feel somewhat liberated in terms of we feel freed from pangs of material existence, but again we get indulged into activities which are not much Krishna conscious activities. Sometimes we will find that. So still we have some material taste, right? Because we're not yet purified. But by engaging in devotional service, gradually this bhakti rasa will gradually increase and it will purify us. Because whenever we're engaging in devotional service, you are getting some bhakti rasa, some Krishna consciousness is happening. And that's how you get purified and you're developing higher taste, more and more like that. So you won't be the same person if you keep going in devotional service more and more. You will get purified more and more like that. And we have seen so many examples. Those who begin Krishna consciousness, they may be lazy, crazy, different kinds of situations might be there. But because they engaged in devotional service consistently over the period of time, they became very sober. So many good qualities come up. They become purified and they're so elevated, and they can actually even give shelter to so many people by their wonderful devotional example. So that's why I say one is thus engaged in devotional service, all varieties of rasas, mellows turn into eternity. In the beginning, one is trained according to principles of regulation under the guidance of the Acharya, spiritual master. And when it is elevated, devotional service becomes automatic and spontaneous. So in the beginning, we have to follow these rules and regulations under the guidance of a bona fide teacher. So it is important. So method, rules, regulations are vital because that discipline helps us to be in touch with Lord. Otherwise, we won't even do that. Like, somebody may say, oh, only when I feel like chanting, I'll chant. Maybe then he may probably chant once in a year or something, maybe. We don't know. No? There is no much regulation and the progress will become very slow. So that's why disciple means discipline. And especially in our stage called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we call it. Vaidhi means Vidhi, Vidhan, rules and regulations. So we have to stick to the rules and regulations of devotional service, meaning rise up early in the morning. That's what was training given in Gurukula. All the students must abide by the rules of the Gurukul, the Guru, right? So they would get up in the morning, they would take cold water bath, they would follow the Guru as menial servant, serve the Guru as a menial servant, and that's how they would get gradually purified, and then they would develop higher taste. And once you develop the taste, then rules and regulations, they become secondary. Doesn't mean you don't follow them, but they don't become the impetus for your practice. Your impetus is the spontaneous juice, bhakti rasa, what you're getting out of that Krishna conscious activity. You're able to access that so much. So you actually do devotional service out of great taste. So you come for Mangalati because you have so much of taste. You just can't stay back. It's like that. When you are waiting when the morning will happen, I'll be in front of the Lord. It's like that. So you're just waiting so eagerly. That's what. So this is like taste. When gopis were not like, okay, Krishna is playing Basuri, I have to come. Some devotees were thinking, conch shell is blown, I have to come for Mangalati, I'm in temple, Baba, I cannot escape. So gopis are not thinking like that. Gopis are waiting, when Krishna is going to call us. The rate is go like that. So that is spontaneous attraction. But now we may not have. So that's why we need to have certain discipline in our life. Okay, then I follow certain discipline. So that's why a bona fide teacher will actually give you some discipline based on your, situations and your status. He may give you certain discipline, based on scriptures only. And when you follow those discipline and nicely, sincerely work on your Krishna consciousness, then gradually taste will come because you get purified and then you develop some taste. The good news for all of you is that all of you have developed some taste because not having any taste, you won't be here in the class itself. So you all have some taste for sure. At the same time, we also need discipline because we need to protect this taste by that discipline and we need to grow that taste also. So it's called fencing and feeding. So now we have certain impetus, certain taste in Bhakti Rasa, surely, otherwise we won't be here. But we want to protect it. We don't want to lose that. And we don't lose it anyway, but it can be covered again. There's a possibility. So that's why we want to protect it, and also we want to feed it, meaning we want to also enhance our bhakti rasa by disciplining our life, by practicing Krishna consciousness in a disciplined way, in a disciplined manner. So that's why he's saying the beginning one is trained according to principles of regulation under the guidance of the Acharya, spiritual master. And gradually, when one is elevated, devotional service becomes automatic and spontaneous eagerness to serve Krishna. One Prabhupada disciple told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I don't feel like offering obeisances. Prabhupada said, don't worry. You offer the obeisances, then you'll get the feeling. So, so feelings will come. You first offer the obeisances. So like that. No. My spiritual master says, what, somebody asked question, what to do if I'm not feeling enthusiastic? He said, act enthusiastically, then you'll get the enthusiasm. And so this is the way. So we have to know that we are doing the right thing. Do the right thing, then right feelings will come. So first do the action, then you may expect feelings and emotions later. That will come, that will follow eventually, surely. But if you only wait for feelings and emotions and then think, okay, then only I'll put my action, then that's quite tricky. Then we don't know when we are going to do that. So that's why first action and then spontaneous attraction later. So that's why it says that when one is elevated, devotional service becomes automatic and spontaneous eagerness to serve Krishna. Like many of you, I don't have to even call and say anything. Before only you come and join talk. That means there is something which you are looking for. There is some kind of taste is there. Something is there. Otherwise, you won't be just coming. So there is some taste. But this is some minimal, something we have little bit, some glimpse we have. But the taste becomes so overwhelming, as one makes advancement in Krishna consciousnness. So for him, material life ceased to exist because of his such great taste, like that. So it says 12 kinds of rasas, 5 rasas. I discussed that 5 primary rasas: Shantaras, Dasiras, Sakhiras, Vatsalas, Madhuriras, 5 primary rasas, and 12 secondary rasas. Sorry, 7 secondary rasas are there. So those things will come up here. So these are the original rasas which exist in spiritual platform. So what we experience in this world is nothing but perverted reflection of that. Like in this world, the boy-girl relationship, based on lust, is actually nothing but perverted reflection of Krishna and Gopis loving exchanges, which is completely pure. Is the highest in a spiritual realm. But in this realm, it is the lowest. And it is contaminated. It is not glorified in any civilized society. Right? So the basic principle of living, further you can read. Chaitanya Prabhu, you like to read? Or maybe Neeraj Prabhu, you like to read? Neeraj Prabhu?
Yes, Swamiji.
The basic principle, you can read.
Yeah. The basic principle of the living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. No one can live without loving someone. This propensity is present in every living being. Even in an animal like a tiger has this loving propensity, at least in a dormant stage, and it is certainly present in the human beings. The missing point, however, is where to repose our love so that everyone can become happy. At the present moment, the human society teaches one to love his country or family or his personal self, but there is no information where to repose the loving propensity so that everyone can become happy. The missing point is Krishna, the nectar of devotion, teaches us how to stimulate our original love for Krishna and how to be situated in that position where we can enjoy our blissful life.
Yeah, go ahead further. Xavier, would you like to read?
Sure, yes. Let's see here. In the primary stage of a child, in the primary stage, a child loves his parents, then his brothers and sisters, and as he daily grows up, he begins to love his family, society, community, country, nation, or even the whole human society. But the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society.
This is the amazing point. See, this point is the most critical point, crucial point. The loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. What to speak of loving your family, loving your nation. It's not satisfied even by loving all human society also. Go ahead.
Loving propensity by human society. That loving propensity fulfilled until we know is the supreme love. Love can be fully satisfied when it is reposed in Krishna. This theme is the sum and substance of the nectar devotion, which teaches us how to Krishna five different transcendental wills.
So this is my voice is, I mean, I'm not able to hear properly, or others also can't hear. His voice was breaking, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was breaking here.
Breaking, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we could read, so no problem. So our love can be fully satisfied only when it is reposed in Krishna. This theme is the sum and substance of the nectar of devotion, which teaches us how to love Krishna in five different types of mellows. Yes. Now, Virat, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Our loving propensity expands just as a vibration of light or air
So this is
expands.
one of the very important paragraph. Huh? Please hear every line very attentively. Yeah. Then I'll summarize. Yes.
Our loving propensity expands just as the vibration of light or air expands, but we do not know where it ends. The nectar of devotion teaches us the science of loving every one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving Krishna.
So see, we want to love everyone, right? That the desire is there. But nectar devotion will teach you actually how can you be enabled to do that, right? Yes. How many face some challenge? You want to love a person, but somehow there is some barrier, you just can't do it, you know. Maybe because of your envy, because of maybe your own selfishness or something like that. But innate there is desire to love everyone, correct? But we can't sometimes. Yes. Go ahead.
We have failed to create peace and harmony in human society, even by such great attempts as the United Nations, because we do not know the right method. The method is very simple, but one has to understand it with a cool head. The nectar of devotion teaches all men how to perform the simple and natural method of loving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we learn how to love Krishna, then it is very easy to immediately and simultaneously love every living being. It is like pouring water on the root of a tree or supplying food to one's stomach. The method of pouring water on the root of a tree or supplying foodstuffs to the stomach is universally scientific and practical, as every one of us has experienced. Everyone knows well that when we eat something, or in other words, when we put foodstuffs in the stomach, the energy created by such action is immediately distributed throughout the whole body. Similarly, when we pour water on the root, the energy thus created is immediately distributed throughout the entirety of even the largest tree. It is not possible to water the tree part by part, nor is it possible to feed the different parts of the body separately. The nectar of devotion will teach us how to turn the one switch that will immediately brighten everything, everywhere. One who does not know this method is missing the point of life.
Yeah, one switch. What is that one switch? Who will tell? What is that one switch?
Turn towards Krishna.
Loving Krishna. Loving Krishna, that one switch, master switch, right? So, Prabhu, you can read quickly. Chaitanya Prabhu, quickly can you read?
Yeah.
Fast, as far as?
As far as material necessities are concerned, the human civilization at the present moment is very much advanced in living comfortably, but still we are not happy because we are missing the point. The material comforts of life alone are not sufficient to make us happy. The vivid example is America, the richest nation of the world, having all facilities for material comfort, is producing a class of men completely confused and frustrated in life. I'm appealing herewith to such confused men to learn the art of devotional service as directed in the nectar of devotion, and I am sure that the fire of material existence burning within their hearts will be immediately extinguished. The root cause of our dissatisfaction is that our dormant loving propensity has not been fulfilled despite our great advancement in the materialistic way of life. The nectar of devotion will give us practical hints how we can live in this material world perfectly engaged in devotional service and thus fulfill all our desires in this life and the next. The nectar of devotion is not presented to condemn any way of materialistic life, but the attempt is to give information to religionists, philosophers, and people in general how to love Krishna. One may live without material discomfiture, but at the same time, he should learn the art of loving Krishna. At the present moment, we are inventing so many ways to utilize our propensity to love, but factually, we are missing the real point, Krishna. We are all watering all parts of the tree, but missing the tree's roots. We are trying to keep our body fit by all means, but we are neglecting to supply foodstuffs to the stomach. Missing Krishna means missing one's self also. Real self-realization and realization of Krishna go together simultaneously. For example, seeing oneself in the morning means seeing the sunrise also. Without seeing the sunshine, no one can see himself. Similarly, unless one has realized Krishna, there is no question of self-realization.
Okay, somebody who has not read, everybody read, I think. Pranay, you have not read? No,
He
you
read first.
I read, yeah.
Okay, so let us ask Neeraj to conclude.
The nectar of devotion is specifically presented for persons who are now engaged in the Krishna conscious movement. I beg to offer my sincere thanks to all my friends and disciples who are helping me to push forward the Krishna conscious movement in the Western countries, and I beg to acknowledge with thanks the contribution made by my beloved disciple Sriman Jayananda Brahmachari. Many thanks are due as well to the directors of ISKCON Press who have taken so much care in publishing this great literature. Hare Krishna.
Vision Swami, 13th April 1970, ISKCON headquarters, 3764 Weta Square, West F, Los Angeles, California. So yes, it's a very beautiful series of purports. Lot of things, what a depthness is there. But I like to hear the reflection from all of you. Because I just explain, I think I should hear from you. Because it's quite easy, but very deep. Yes. It's like revealing purport, right? Because all of us have the concern. United Nations, love everyone. All those concerns are addressed here. Yes. Quick reflections, one reflection, please.
Sure, I'll start.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I mean, I think I was always thinking back when I was in an like atheistic phase, was always thinking, as long as I'm morally sound, ethically virtuous, and I love and serve everyone else, it should be perfectly fine, right? What's the need of a higher power? But I'm thinking now, the more and more I go through life, like that foundation itself is not that strong because very easy to fall into temptation without at least that constant reinforcement of something greater than yourself, right? Because at some point you start to realize, oh, maybe if I can love everyone else, I'm the greatest, right? Like I have so much to give, that kind of thing. But maybe egotistically it's really bad. So I think the point of if you love Krishna, then you have the capability to love everyone else, not the opposite. So I think that resonated with me.
Thank you. Very deep point, very important point. This actually the morality of a person cannot be stable if he doesn't have the foundation of devotion. It's a very beautiful point what you shared. Look at it, Hanuman. Hanumanji, when he went to Lanka, there were so many beautiful women lying, with Ravana, in different kind of, gestures and postures and all this lying there. And they were all the best women which Ravana kidnapped. But you see, all those women did not have any kind of influence on Hanumanji, because though Hanumanji was looking for Sita, where is Mother Sita, where is Mother Sita, but he was not at all influenced. Why? Because he was completely absorbed in the service of Lord Rama. He had impeccable devotion. So the devotion, and in fact, Hanumanji asked the question to himself, what I'm doing here? I'm a brahmachari, I'm trying to, look at this different women, But then Hanumanji he made answer to himself only. But I'm trying to do my service to Lord Rama. I'm just trying to look for Mother Sita so that I can serve Lord Rama. And that was a protection for Hanumanji. You can see Hanumanji did not waver in his consciousness. Consciousness remained fixed. But it's very easy, as you said, very easy to get carried away when our devotion is not that strong. So strong devotion leads to very high character, very high moral also. So otherwise, one can just anytime slip or sell out all his morality and everything. It's just the lack of opportunity. Some kind of tempting situation comes and people just fail. Actually, many times it happens in this world. So yes, if you want to be really ethical man, actually the devotion itself gives you that deep, strong foundation, because you have that cause, you have that reason for doing the right thing. Very strong way. Otherwise, as you rightly said, being ethical also can lead to pride. I'm a very religious man and all that. That can just, out of pride, we may do it. That's another fall. That another unethical thought. Even though you may be, because you're becoming proud of your ethics, also. Good point, Prabhu. Thank you. So I would give session on this, like, so I'd say CCC. What is that? You should be competence, character, and no, CCD, competence, character, and devotion. So competence without character is no use, actually. No, it just like Ravana had so much of competence, but no character. No. And character you cannot hold, steadily if you don't have a foundation of devotion. So CCD. So that's why you can work on competence. You can, and of course, we should have character, but all these things you can achieve very strongly when you have devotion. Because when you have strong devotion, then Lord can even empower you certain ways by which you can do Herculean tasks. Like Hanumanji was empowered. So if you see, he comes from a monkey race, but he was empowered by Lord Rama. He became so competent. Same Arjuna also was empowered by Lord Krishna. He became so competent. So we don't have to worry. Whatever skill, talents we may have, We focus on devotion, and then we also work on our competence and character. But having a foundation of devotion makes it easy. That ultimately gives us all nourishment in all aspects, like competence also and character also. Yes. Others, please.
Yeah, for me, I like the aspect of the feeling of incompleteness, where no matter how much love you have for everybody and how much capacity you think you have, and you still think you have some level of attraction to Krishna or maybe other devtas, you somehow believe that is enough, and yet people feel incomplete because it's not rooted, like the way you said, in devotion first. Right now, it is still based on the self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people have love for their family members, their pets, many things, but still the love is not satisfied. They're not satisfied with that kind of love, because what is missing is the nature of our natural flow of love towards everyone. I mean, the natural flow of our love towards everyone will automatically happens when it goes through Krishna. Just like your water can naturally flow to all the parts of the tree and nourish that when you water it to root of the tree. So actually, when you love Krishna, it's a beautiful point. Actually, if you love Krishna, then you immediately are empowered to love everyone. It just automatic happens. Loving Krishna, like master switches says, turns on all the switches. See, one Srila Prabhupada, he loved Krishna so deeply, and how he love expanded to everyone, to even the hippies and anyone actually, anyone. Nobody can escape them because your love will just flow like that. So through Krishna, it can just spread everyone. But if you want to love your family members, then you fail to love your neighbors. You want to love your family members and neighbors, you may fail to love your society in totality. You can love your society, but you may not love other castes and all that people. You may love yours, all the castes and other castes, but sometimes you may not love your neighboring state. Maybe your state people you may love, not neighboring state. Then you can love your entire nation you may love, but you may not love the neighboring nation. Then you may start loving all human beings, but then you may fail to love animals and amoeba and paramecium. Then you may love all of them, but you may not love other planetary, other people from other planets. So your love is always going to remain incomplete. And it won't be satisfied also, both incomplete and not satisfied. Because it doesn't, and also it does not reach us to them, and you're also not satisfied. Yeah, because your love does not reach us to them, meaning what? Like you love that person, but your love doesn't benefit him, doesn't reach us to him also. He also doesn't get that satisfaction. That's a problem. So not the person who's trying to love also satisfied, not the person who is receiving love also satisfied. Both of them are not satisfied. Like say you water instead of root, you put the water on the leaf. That doesn't give nourishment to the leaf also. And you also won't be satisfied because it's not the right way to do. So it's like that. Like for example, a sister, she's trying to, I gave the example in Ramayana session also. A sister is trying to love his younger brother. So he gives a pakoda, the brother has a fever, high fever. Now that aspect of love did not benefit, doesn't reach us to the brother. And the sister also not satisfied because she gets a slap. Why did you feed? The parents come and like that. But if she simply aligns with the parents, then her love and compassion can truly go to the younger kid also. Then she can actually be empowered to take care of the kid properly, if she aligns with the parents. So that's why it is important, principle, that by loving Krishna, actually you are empowering yourself to love everyone in true way. I see in my life also, no, when I'm trying to relate with people, the more I'm trying to, follow this principle of being Krishna conscious, the more to that degree we actually can deal with people with much more respect and affection, and give them the dignity, in a dignified way we can deal with them. Correct? It's possible because we see them in connected to Krishna. You relate to people more. This would always amaze me, my Krishna consciousness, that how, even though I'm meeting some devotee very first time, but how much we are able to exchange, affection and feelings. We are able to share our hearts and so much. He's a stranger to me, in this life, first time we are meeting, but because we're connected to Krishna, we feel so close to each other. Many of you might be also facing that. And sometimes in materialistic world, sometimes you may stay with person for many years, but still, you feel like still we are not so close. We may see them as they are like strangers sometimes, that people cannot relate sometimes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Neeraj Prabhu. Yes, quick, Virat Prabhu and Pranay Prabhu.
Yeah, like same point only, Prabhu. Like we all have the, as you said, right, loving propensity to love. Like someone, we try to find someone, but we are not satisfied basically. So we should like always love Krishna. So it will help and make everyone happy. Along with that, also for the in Bhakti Rasa, I also like that point. Like we also don't want liberation, right? We just want to do devotional service to the Lord, and like it's based on all love basically. So that point I really like. Yeah.
And liberation is automatic.
Yes.
Yeah. But devotee is not simply liberation without devotion. Yes. Yes, correct. And when you love, when you're trying to love without having your love for Krishna, then you're also not satisfied. That is also important point to understand. Your love is always frustrated. Yes, Virat Prabhu.
I was trying to think of a different reflection. I had similar reflections to everyone else. I was trying to think of a slightly different one. One of my reflections was we need that foundation in devotion in order to practice Krishna consciousness. And you mentioned nicely that sometimes the taste is not there, but you have to show discipline because we are disciples. So to be a disciple, you have to be disciplined, and even though you may not have the taste immediately, you should still carry out Krishna consciousness practices, and then you will slowly develop the taste. And I like that you need the strong devotional foundation, and then you will develop strong character, and then from strong character you will develop strong moralities, and then you'll become like a beacon or a representative to non-devotees in the world, and they will hopefully become inspired by your good character and good morality, and also start to practice Krishna consciousness. My other reflection was that the 5 plus 7 rasas, they are they're in the perverted form in the material world because we our actions in the material world are not so much God centered or God focused. So that's why they are in the perverted form. But whilst we are in the material world, if we try to, as you mentioned in the past, if we try to dovetail our actions towards Krishna consciousness, then we can try to make those forms less perverted in the material world. So we can try to do the best possible.
We can do what? Formless?
We can try to do the best possible action by trying to dovetail our actions and our emotions towards God consciousness, and try to keep our relationships Krishna consciousness in the whilst we're in the material world.
Yeah. So, and we have this rasa of Madhurya Vatsalya with Lord only, like that is there. And in this world, you may have some role. It's perverted reflection only. When you think somebody is my father, somebody is my mother, somebody is my brother, Actually, nobody's a father, mother, brother here. It's all based on the body. But what relationship and spiritual perspective we have is that we are all soul brothers. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. So you will see everybody as your, a soul brother. Oh, he's also a servant of Krishna. I'm also a servant of Krishna. Together, let us serve Krishna. And in this world, you may have some role. You may use that role in helping the person to come closer to Krishna. Like a father may offer all love, to the child, having that aspect of affection, which may be based on bodily identification, but he first understands I am soul, he's soul. So our primary identification is that I am servant of Krishna, he is servant of Krishna. And then you can use the designation and the part of affection which you may have based on the perverted relation of that. You may have some kind of parental feelings for that child. You can use that for bringing the child closer to Krishna. So that is the best use of that relationship. Doesn't mean you're God-centered. You don't have eternal relationship with a child as a father and son. Because tomorrow he may be your father or he may become your brother, like that. So in this world, all these relationships are perverted only. So all our true relationship is with Krishna and through Krishna with everyone. That's how it is. Correct. In the spiritual world, we may have certain position and roles and relationships, but here in this world, it's all perverted. Okay, so I think we'll pause here. We are over time, just 18 minutes over time. We'll pause here. You all were so nicely sharing, so I did not want to stop. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.